Good day. Today I'm going to show you how you're going to install the TelcoBridges ProSBC over the Azure platform. So on the left-hand side, you will have the documentation for installing the Microsoft Azure, the ProSBC documentation. Right a little bit down here, it talks about requirement regarding the ProSBC. And usually the default v3 would be more than enough, which is the 4 vCPU and 16 gigabit of RAM would be suitable for most of the cases. I mean, simple deployments. So if your session requirements is higher than that, you can consider to upgrade to the required sessions numbers with a bigger VM size according to the need. Okay. So the first step is to retrieve the image from the ProSBC download site. So on the left-hand side, if you go ahead to click on this link, you will be navigated to the ProSBC download site. You just have to log in, go to the download center. Here is where you can download the Microsoft Azure package. Okay. Once you click download, you'll be downloading a file which is named tar.gz, which is the zipped VHD file. So that's what you will need here. So I'm pausing it on my side because I already have it in my local computer. I don't have to download it here. Okay. Getting back to the documentation, after you retrieve the image itself, you can go ahead to create a resource group and then the storage account. So the storage account basically is the place where you can put your VHD file, and then you can instantiate and you can create an image out of it. And then at last, you can instantiate the VM from that. And for the resource group, it's a logically group of resources which are related. For example, if you are familiar with the Azure, the way that they are doing at their VM, they put the virtual network, then the network security group, the disk, and all the other related info for that particular ProSBC into a resource group for easy management. So that's why if you create a resource group, it will be easier for you to see all the resources which is associated to it. If you don't already have one, go ahead to create a resource group. So I have one here called demo. You can definitely create a new one. Just go ahead to click create. Okay. Give your resource group a name. I can give one which is called demo2. Click review and create. It will pass validation. It will be validating in progress. Once you pass validation, click create. So this is the standard way of how Azure is creating entity. So besides resource group, you have a lot of things to create. It always gives you the same look and feel wizard where you have to click next, and then create. So this is the way that they do it. So that's just to give you an idea. So after you create a resource group, you will see that here, the same as what I have here, which is the demo. So if you click into it, you will see all the resources which are associated to this demo resources group. So you see my ProSBC is inside. I have an image where I create this VM from. I have my storage account. I have the public IP. I have the network security group associated to this resource. I have my network interface. I have my disk. I have my virtual network, right? So everything is included there. Everything is included there in a very systematic way, let's say. Okay. So at the end of this demo, the expectation is that you will have the same items created as I have here in this screen on the right hand side. Okay, that's the ultimate goal of this. Okay, so let's navigate on the left hand side on the documentation. Next, after creating the resource group, you create a storage account. As I mentioned, this is where this is a place where you will need to upload your .vhd image file. So go ahead to the storage account. Okay. All right, so I have one which is called demo something. 9879. So definitely you can create one for yourself. So let's do that again. We choose the good resource group. We get a very unique account name. Okay, now it works, right? Nothing changes. So it happens sometimes with the Azure platform, so don't be surprised about that. So you can choose the region where the storage account should reside. I would just keep it default is US in my case, okay? And then I just keep everything default. I just click review and create. There you go. You are going to create the storage account. So as I said, it needs some validation. So once the validation is passed, it will show you all the details. Just go ahead to click create. There you go. You have your storage account ready. So let's go back to our storage account here. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the one that I created earlier, demo 9879. Go ahead to click in it. According to the documentation, the next thing you'll have to do is to create a blob container right here. So go ahead to click in the blob service. Okay. If you don't already have a container, you will have to create a container. Okay. It's very straightforward. Just click add container, pass through the wizard, give a name, and you will have it. So I don't need to show that again. I think you pretty much have an idea how to pass through the creation wizard of the Azure platform. Okay. Blob service. Okay, my container. Oh, there you go. Okay, so here is the way that and the place that you have to upload your VHD file. Okay, go ahead to click upload. Browse your file from your local computer. Upload it accordingly. Click upload and it will upload the file. So it takes some time. For me, it takes more than 30 minutes to upload a 40 gigabyte file here. So I would recommend that you sit there and watch the upload process once in a while to make sure that it's complete. Because if you just go grab a coffee or you forget, you just close your laptop and after that it looks finished, but it's not completely uploaded. When you create an image from this VHD file, it will give you errors. Okay, that's what we don't want. So I would recommend that you stay there. Make sure that it's completely uploaded. All the 40 gigabyte of file bits and bytes are completely uploaded to make sure that it won't give you an error. Okay, so once you upload that file, according to the dot, okay, we're here already. So we can go ahead to create an image. Okay, so once this file is here, you can go ahead to create the image. On the top search bar, just click image. Okay, this is where you can create an image from the storage account. So I have one here called ProSBC. So definitely you want to create one as well. Okay, choose the good resource group, give it a unique name. Okay, this is a Linux distribution, right? Okay, then storage block is where you can browse or you just create it here. Okay, click demo 9879, my container, choose the VHD file, click select. See, it's create a link to the VHD that you uploaded. Okay, that's where you create an image from that VHD file. Okay, click review and create. It will pass validation again. Okay, something is missing. Let's see, what is that? Okay, account type, you just choose standard HDD, that will be sufficient. Click review and create again. Let's bring you to the validation page. Once everything is validated, click create. There you go, you have an image. So on the left-hand side, it says that they need a virtual network, right? So, but we can use the default settings. If you have any network-related items that you want to change in the virtual network, you can definitely change that later. So I would recommend that you create a virtual machine first, then you can adjust afterwards. That would be easier to go like that. So you have an image created already. Now it's time to instantiate a ProSBC. Okay. Go ahead on the search bar, type virtual machines, right? Type virtual machines. Okay. Yeah. Again, this got my change because that was just for demo. So you can see I have a few VMs here. So across different location and subscription and resource groups, which is fine. You just have to let it like there. You don't, and you may have others resources created. Okay, doesn't matter. So now you can create a new virtual machine. Click on this. Okay. Resource group, you choose the good one you just created. Choose the good subscription for sure. Make sure you put the resources in the right place. Give your ProSBC a name. Okay. In my case, I don't need infrastructure redundancy. If you want, you can adjust according to what you wanted. Image is important. We have to select the image that we just created. Right? Okay, I don't need this. Then see all images. I choose the images I created. Because the image does not exist on Marketplace, my image is my image that I created, so I have to choose my image here. Okay, then you can choose ProSBC, right? Select. It automatically pops up the image that you have chosen. So I just have to select this again. No infrastructure redundancy required. If you need, you can definitely do this again and to choose the one you wanted. So for the size of the VM, I choose default S3, which is a default, suitable for demo, for testing, for non-production environments. 4 CPU, 16 gig of RAM works for most cases. As I said, if you have more sessions that you want to create, you can definitely upgrade this according to the documentation that we provided. Okay. And next is the SSH key and also the authentication method. So for Linux machine, we definitely want to use SSH key pair for authentication for security purpose. And in my case here, I will keep the username Azure user, which is a default. If you have some other username that you can use, you can definitely use another name. For the SSH public key, you can choose generate new key pair. If you don't already have an existing key stored in Azure, or you don't have an existing key on hand that you want to use, you can definitely choose generate a new one. If you use this, as you progress in the next steps, you will be asked to download your private key from the browser, and that's the only time that you can retrieve your private key. No other times you can do that. So keep that key in a safe place, and that will be used for authentication, SSH authentication into your VM accordingly. So I already did that. So you can go ahead to click create a view and create. I will generate a new one for now, just for demonstration purpose. Doesn't matter. So we could create. This validation takes the most time from the other steps. So be patient and let it review and create. It looks blank. It looks like it's doing nothing, but it's not the case. So it is fine. Just give it some time. Okay. So let's walk through on the left-hand side what else we need to do. Okay. After you click review and create, there you go. You completed most of the steps. Okay. So as you can see, the validation of the virtual machine has passed. And if you go ahead to click create, your VM is up and running. Okay, so I would like to show you the configuration for the network security group, where they will be essential for accessing the web portal we just mentioned. So the ProSBC uses port 12358 as the default port to access the web portal and for initial configuration. So from the left-hand side, let's check here. This is where we want to go. The ProSBC configuration research for TelcoBridges SBC. This is the page that we want to go, and this is on port 12358. Okay, so it is important that you turn this port on so that you can access it. Okay, so on the right hand side, where is this configuration located would be in the ProSBC NSG. Okay, and then there you go, you need to add an inbound security rule here. For now, I've been a bit loose in terms of the port configuration. I allow any source from any source to access this 12358 port. For testing purpose, that would work, and you can definitely put more restrictions on this once you have important configuration going on the SBC and you want to limit that. That would be a good practice to tighten up the security. Okay, so let's go back to the resource group. And then we go to the demo. Let's get the public IP address of the virtual machine, okay? So if you can go to the virtual machine, that is the public IP that is automatically created for you. So we go ahead on the browser, we try to access the, I should go to the one for, which has not been configured yet, okay? Just 1 second. Oh yes, that's a good one. Don't remember. Okay, there you go. Put the public IP address, put the port. There you go. You are in the configuration wizard for the TelcoBridges ProSBC. So once you reach this page, you're ready to configure the SBC, right? Putting it as a standalone unit, is a 1+1 unit, and verify the networking configuration. So starting from here, you can follow the documentation on .prosbc.com to continue the initial configuration for this unit. So that's the end of this video for today. Thank you so much for watching.